Discover the power of stories. Hello, in this video, I will share some tips on how to create a compelling story and transform your statements into concise one-line stories. I will also explain how storytelling can enhance your persuasive skills in your work and professional life. Have you ever wondered why stories have such a profound impact on us, whether it's a childhood fairy tale or an epic movie? Stories have the ability to captivate our minds, inspire our hearts, and shape our perspectives. So, let's grab a cup of coffee and embark on a journey through the enchanting realm of storytelling. What is a good story? A good story is a compelling and engaging narrative that takes the reader on a factual or fictional journey. Overall, a good story should leave a lasting impression on the reader's mind and evoke emotions they will carry with them long after the story ends. I don't particularly appreciate distinguishing between a metaphor, an analogy, and a story, as my primary goal is to learn how to influence rather than to make academic distinctions. I view all metaphors, analogies, and stories as equal. A persuasive story is any narrative that draws from personal experience, imagination, or literary sources and traditions and helps to convey your message. Unlike other forms of persuasion, storytelling does not force or coerce. Instead, it creates power through narrative. The beauty of storytelling is that it generates no resistance, allowing for a seamless delivery of your message. Why are stories so powerful? In my experience, trying to influence people through rewards, bargaining, bribery, rhetoric, caution, and trickery can often backfire because it doesn't give people more space to think for themselves. A story allows people to engage with the content and to come to their own conclusions. As they listen, the story develops and grows in their minds. Your listeners will remember and retell a good story, making it a powerful tool for influence. Storytelling is a powerful tool that can significantly impact others, whether it's employees, co workers, bosses, spouses, children, or society as a whole. It is an overlooked skill but has tremendous potential to make a difference. Have you ever noticed that every religion is full of stories? Every movie tells a story, and people are willing to pay to watch and listen to those stories. Stories can be the key to unlocking someone's understanding in a world filled with complex realities. A good story can take them on a journey and show them a different perspective, allowing them to see something they were previously blind to. Be aware of the power of storytelling as a tool of persuasion. It is always available to you and can be a fantastic asset. How do you turn ordinary statements into stories? Let me give you some examples. For instance, if I want to convey that greed is the root cause of all miseries, history is full of such stories. Simply stating it may not be as powerful as sharing a story. How do I transform the same message in the form of a story? If I narrate the story of King Midas and his ill-fated desire to turn everything he touched into gold, it becomes a one-line story that highlights the point. King Midas was a man who wished that everything he touched would turn into gold, but his wish turned out to be a curse. Even when it comes to professional life, it's crucial to communicate advice in a way that is clear and has context. For instance, if I tell someone, good leaders don't criticize their employees, it may be good advice, but it lacks depth and may not resonate with the listener. How can I turn this advice into a quick story? How can I make the same advice more impactful? For example, instead of giving direct advice, I could tell a short story that conveys the same message more engagingly. I could say, I have a friend who shared his grandfather's favorite saying: the man who beats his horse will soon be walking. Let's analyze this one sentence story. It has the element of time, space, character, action, and consequence. This one sentence story has the unique capacity to tap into complex situations we have all encountered and a truth we all can realize. Giving credit to my friend and grandfather says a lot about me or the storyteller. I'm a person who listens to good advice. Indirect story works where direct won't work. So, turn your ordinary statements or examples into stories by including statements of time, space, character, action, and consequences. Programming the mind, mental software. I want to provide two examples to illustrate how stories can function as mental software that can program your mind. Just like software, stories can be run again and again and again by listeners. Good, thought provoking, authentic storytelling is a powerful tool for programming the mind with minimal resistance. I vividly remember two stories that my dad often told me. They left a lasting impression on me, and I always keep them in my mind whenever I face similar situations. My dad used to say that working hard and smart is the key to success, and he would always back it up with a story. He often narrated the tale of a fabled cricketer who found himself in a tight spot during a crucial match. The team required a challenging shot to win the game. The player focused all his powers, gazed at the ball intently, and hit it softly, lifting it in the air. The ball moved in an arc, and the player was positioned right underneath, ready to catch it. However, the ball landed half a meter just outside the boundary line. His team won the match. As the player was leaving the field after winning the game, a spectator mocked him from the sidelines, saying, "Hey, that was surely a lucky shot." The player replied, "I guess you're right. You know, the funny thing is, the more I practice, the luckier I get." This story has played in my mind repeatedly, and I can't tell you how many times I have thought of it. I have a story about perseverance embedded in my mind and feel compelled to share. Allow me. My father used to talk about Thomas Edison's experience inventing the first light bulb. Edison had reportedly conducted over 2000 experiments before he finally succeeded. At a press conference, a journalist asked Edison how it felt to fail 2000 times. Edison replied, "I did not fail 2000 times. I found 1999 ways not to make a light bulb." This story and many others my dad shared have profoundly impacted me and shaped my perception and choices, allowing me to approach new experiences positively. Even though my dad is no longer with me, his stories continue to inspire me and live in my memories. That's the power of stories. So, before I sign off, I want to tell you another story. It's a beautiful story. Let me know in the comments below how you will use this story. A story is always narrated from a point of view. Two monks of a particular order that prohibit them from speaking or touching others were on a pilgrimage during a rainy season. They came across a wide, fast flowing river that they needed to cross. As they were about to step into the river, they saw a woman who required their assistance to cross. She was dressed in fine clothes and carried an umbrella. The younger monk ignored her and looked away, But the elder monk lifted her on his shoulders and carried her across the other side of the bank. During their journey through the woods, the younger monk berated the elder for betraying their order and vows. The elderly monk looked at the younger monk and said, "My brother, I put that woman down 1 hour ago. It is you who are still carrying her." The story teaches us a valuable lesson. Letting go of our burdens and not holding on to them is crucial. The meaning of each story varies depending on the context in which it is told, who is narrating it, and who is listening. Therefore, it is essential to take some time to create your own stories and integrate them into your daily life, whether at work or in your personal life, to persuade people to see your point of view. Look for stories in newspapers, books, TVs, radio, movies, and especially anecdotes from our lives. We must experiment with telling the same story in different ways, making changes to achieve their results and responses. Stories create power and enable us to review and anticipate thoughts and actions. Stories have an incredible power to influence and change us in profound ways. We must embrace them in our everyday lives by creating our own narratives, seeking out stories from different sources, and experimenting with different ways of telling the same story. The power of a story lies not in its content, but also in how it is crafted and shared. So let's continue to embrace the power of stories and use them to connect with those around us. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out the related content on the screen. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.